everyone. It's good to see you. This is Joon and Dr. Sam.
Joon and Dr. Sam의 저는 고준기입니다.
We had several episodes planned for our YouTube channel, but something major happened in the world while we were planning and shooting our videos, and that's COVID-19, and that has completely changed the way that we interact with our world. And one of the big things that's come up with COVID-19 that I've been hearing about is kids at home all day long.
아이들이 집에서 보내는 시간이 너무 많아졌고, 그리고 부모님들도 집에서 함께 시간을 보내는데 그 많은 시간을 예전에는 학교를 갔다 오면은 그 다음에 뭐 어떻게 아이들과 얘기를 나누고 그 정도만 고민을 하면 됐는데 이젠 전혀 달라졌죠. 모든 시간을 아이와 함께 해야 되고 밥도 하루 세 끼를 다 먹고.
That's right. And I think you bring up a really good point. It's not just the time that the kids are at home, but the parents are also at work too. But now because of COVID-19, they're at home. So you're spending all day together, you're having all your meals together. And so I think what's on the minds of a lot of parents is how do we take advantage of this time and how do we make it good for everybody?
우리가 집에서 루틴을 갖는 거에 대해서 아이들의 그 루틴을 갖게 해주는 거에 대해서 얘기를 우리가 나눌 거거든요. 근데 그 중에 우리가 중요하게 생각하는 게 5가지가 있죠.
Yeah, and if you take a look at our blog post on joonanddrsam.com, you'll find that we have a blog post talking about routines and children. And there we have 5 sort of tips or things to think about as you develop those routines at home. So the first thing that I would tell you is talk to your child about the routine. Have communication with them, and talking to the kid is really important because it gets buy-in from them and gets them to be a part of setting up their own structure.
아, 이거 부모가 자기가 마음대로 정하는 게 아니라 아이들하고 그 루틴에 대해서 아이들은 어떻게 생각하는지에 대해서 의견도 물어보고 그러니까 같이 정하는 거군요. 그래야 아이들도 내가 같이 정한 거니까 또 따라하고 싶은 마음도 있을 거고.
Yeah. How often is it that parents they tell a kid to do something and the kid never does it? It's like 공부하라, or like, you know, you should go study, but they never go and like study. They're like secretly playing video games. But talking to them gets that buy-in, and so that the child is more likely to be involved in. It's like, okay, it's sort of like a contract that the parent and the child do, and the two of you negotiate through. It's like, okay, this is kind of what we think that a good routine would be. The second tip that I would have you think about when thinking about your routines is keep the educational goals realistic. And I can't stress that enough because things are so different. There's so many distractors. For the parents who are working from home, you might find that it's a little bit harder to work from home or harder to keep focus. And that different atmosphere plays a big part in that.
학교에 가서는 여러 친구들이 있고 서로 이렇게 인터랙션 하는 것도 굉장히 다양하고 선생님과도 하는 게 있고, 근데 이거를 집에서 한다는 거는 또 환경이 전혀 다르기 때문에 또 이 환경에 맞는 고를 세워야겠네요.
It's important to work in a lot of breaks and structured breaks. And what I mean by that is, let's say that, okay, for 2 hours you're going to study. Don't think that the kid is going to be full attention for 2 full hours on anything educational. It's a lot for them to take in. So it's important to build in a couple of breaks. So maybe every hour there's a 10-15 minute break that's built in. So it's 45-50 minutes of learning and then 10-15 minutes of break, and then go into another hour.
다 좋아서 다 짰는데 아이들이 그게 다 잘 지켜질까요?
To get more buy-in from the kid, let's say your child is not really into the routine, there's a third thing that I would recommend. It's scheduling a fun time. And that's something that could help get buy-in with the kid and the routine that you set up. So this fun time could be like, you know, a couple hours of video games, maybe some family time could be mixed in with it as well.
저희가 세 번째가 펀타임을 스케줄하는 거지만 우리 네 번째 포인트인 가족과 함께 하는 것도 이것도 같이 할 수 있는 거니까요.
the fun time that's scheduled, yes, fun time can be the kid playing video games by themselves or, playing with their toys. But it could also be a valuable time where the family comes together and does something together, like playing a board game together. I know some families have done gardening together. Cooking is another thing that I know a lot of families like to do together. I know some families, want to teach their kids a little bit about history. So I know it's not New Year's Day, but you could teach your kid something about yunori, or you could learn about like playing paduk with your kids. So there's lots of different options.
한번 그래도 생각을 해봐야 될 게 패밀리 타임에 대해서 어떤 분들은 그냥 한 공간 안에 우리가 같이 있으면, 지금 우리가 같이 있는 것처럼 같이 있으면은 우리가 함께 있는 거라고 생각하게 되는 경우들이 있는 것 같아요. 하지만 우리도 지금 보면은 바로 옆에 앉아서 얘기를 하고 있지만 우리가 이거를 우리가 시간을 보내고 있다고 할 수는 없는 거잖아요.
That's true. So it's not doing the family time or doing something together is not just about being in the same place or the same space as one another, but it's also trying to do something with each other and building that relationship with one another. Something interactive. I think board games and such, or talking about something, or I think those things would really, really help rather than like you being on the same couch and both of you are on your phones and watching YouTube videos alone.
같이 뭔가를 목표 설정해 놓고 성취한다는 것도 있지만 그 중간중간에 우리가 의견을 교환해야 되고 대화를 나눠야 되잖아요.
Right, right. Something that helps you talk with one another, and you're right about that. There's that interaction piece, like getting to know your child and as well as your child to get to know you as a parent.
그게 학교에서 친구들과 하는 거죠, 원래는.
Right.
네, 우리가 같은 나이대로서 비슷한 관심사를 나누고 그걸 이제 부모님들이 해주셔야 되니까.
Yeah, and for you parents, think about it. It's not just learning math, English, social studies, and things like that. It's also developing good social skills, and that's something that can happen in that interaction with the family. There's one last thing I want to mention is number 5. Above all else, be consistent with the routine. No routine is good unless you're consistent.
루틴이라는 게 하루에 뭘 했다고 그래서 우리가 루틴이라고 하진 않죠. 그 루틴을 반복해야 오늘 한 거를 내일 반복하고 모레 반복하고 일주일 한 거를 그 다음 주에 다시 반복하고 그걸 우리는 루틴이라고 하는 거죠. 그렇기 때문에 오늘 한 거를 꼭 다시 지켜서 그 다음날 또 하는 게 굉장히 중요한 것 같아요. 그리고 이틀을 한 게 당연히 하루를 한 거보다 중요하지만 일주일을 하고 그 일주일을 반복하고.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you have to like start big and schedule every minute of your day. Please don't do that. You can start small by having small things that you are trying to be consistent with and build on it. So maybe for your family, you just want to build in a family time for a couple hours once a week and start there and then build from there. It's like, okay, we've done that. Let's schedule like, a couple of hours of study time for school, every other day. Just start small and build from there.
운동 안 하던 사람이 갑자기 운동하는 거랑 비슷하겠죠.
Yes, you can't run a marathon if you've never trained before.
조금 해보고 또 이게 되면은 여기서 좀 더 늘려서 다른 것도 한번 계획해보고 처음부터 우리는 3시간 동안 앉아서 이걸 할 거야.
Right.
그러면은 애들 입장에서는 그것도 일이 되겠죠.
Yeah, if you say that, okay, we're going to sit down for 3 hours and have family times, like it could be like a marathon run for those kids.
오늘 저희가 한 얘기가 뭐 굉장히 새로운 얘기는 아닌 것 같아요. 새로운 얘기는 아니지만 사실 지키기는 어려운 일이죠.
Yes,
네.
yes.
그리고 내 머릿속에는 약간 abstract, 추상적으로 이렇게 하는 게 맞다고 생각하지만 따로 이렇게 나눠서 생각해 보기가 힘들죠. 루틴을 정하고 그거에 대해서 리얼리스틱하게 한 다음에 뭐 가족의 시간을 어디다 집어넣고 이거를 일관적으로 계속 반복해가고 한번 이걸 생각해 보시면 굉장히 도움이 될 것 같고 아이들한테도 도움이 되고 부모님들로서도 그런 루틴이 생기면 점점 더 쉬워지실 거고.
Yeah, you're right, indeed. And the things about the routine, like none of this is new information. That we're not conveying a brand new psychological concept. This is more of a reminder of things that will help you kind of get through this COVID crisis. And even after this, these are good things to keep in mind for weekends, holiday breaks, when the kids are at home. But for right now, I think we'll end it here. And then we'll talk about some other concerns and areas on our next episode.
저희가 다음에 오늘 얘기한 내용은 약간 기초적인 스트럭처에 대해서 얘기를 한 거고 다음에 또 그 더 디테일한 부분들은 다음 에피소드에서 더 얘기를 나누도록 하겠습니다.
Yeah.